Good morning. Welcome back to our World Geography presentation series that we're offering during the coronavirus crisis. For those of you that are attending for the first time, my name is Gary LeFort. I'm President of Business and Government Services, a small consultant company in the Hamden, Massachusetts area. I am also a retired associate professor from the American International College in Springfield, Massachusetts. Now today what we're going to do is we're going to go over the answers to Geography Test 6 and then conclude the presentation with a new test, Geography Test 7. And as in the previous test, the questions, generally around 10, are not based on a specific region but on the different regions of the world that I have in fact covered in earlier presentations. And let me just briefly show you that map in its regions. Okay, with this orientation as far as the map goes, what I'd like to do now is go through Geography Test 6 questions in the answers. Question number 1, name of the French Overseas Department in South America. The answer is French Guiana. So French Guiana is actually part of France. It speaks French. It also it's a member of the European Union, and it also uses the euro, even though it's located in Latin America. Question number 2, name the 3 main islands that make up the U.S. Virgin Islands that's in Caribbean America. The answer is St. Thomas, St. John, and Croix. Question 3, name the country where you will find the following historical cultural sites. Answer, Stonehenge is in England. The Acropolis is in Greece. The Angkor Wat is in Cambodia. The Forbidden City is in China, that is the People's Republic of China, on mainland China. And Dubrovnik, which is in Croatia. At the end of the presentation, I'll have some photos of these locations with the hopes that you'll get that travel bug someday, put it on your bucket list of places that you would like to see. Question 4, name the 4 main islands that make up the country of Japan. Which island is the core island of Japan? The answer is the 4 islands are Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku. Honshu is the core island of Japan. It's also the largest of the 4. Question 5, territorially, where is the republic? That is Republic of China, that is the ROC, located. Again, this is to be differentiated from China, People's Republic of China, on mainland China. At the end of World War II, there was a clash between the Republic of China, located in China at the time, and the Communist Party led by Mao Zedong. As a result of that clash, the Republic of China was forced to leave the country, and they fled to, at the time, was known as the island of Formosa. And today it is known as the island of Taiwan. So when you talk about Taiwan, you're talking about the Republic of China, generally referred to as the ROC. Question 6, in 1976, Saigon, the former capital of South Vietnam, was renamed to the city name of Ho Chi Minh City. Question 7, this island city-state gained its independence from Malaysia in 1965. The answer is Singapore. When you talk about Singapore, sometimes it's associated as being a Pacific Rim country. And when it's referred to as a Pacific Rim country, it includes not only Singapore, but Hong Kong, South Korea, and Taiwan. These are countries that in the 1990s were growing at a very, very, very rapid rate. Question 8, name the capital of the following countries. Armenia, the capital of Armenia is Yerevan. The capital of Argentina is Buenos Aires. The capital of Portugal is Lisbon. The capital of Kenya is Nairobi. And the capital of Brunei, again a small island in Southeast Asia, on the island of Borneo. Its capital is Bandar Seri Begawan. Question 9, in what year was Hong Kong returned to China? Again, the People's Republic of China, mainland China, ending the British rule going back to 1842. The answer is July 1st, 1997. And the 1843 time frame as a result of the Opium War between the UK and China. China lost the war and ended up having to lease Hong Kong to the UK, and that lease lasted until 1997. The last question, question number 10, name the 7 countries found on the Arabian Peninsula. Again, this is in the Middle East, the Arab world. The answer is Saudi Arabia, which comprises about 90% of the peninsula. And then on the periphery, you have Yemen, you have Oman, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, sometimes called Qatar, and finally the United Arab Emirate, referred to as the UAE. What I'd like to do now is conclude the presentation by going over the Geography Test 7 questions. Again, these 10 questions are based on the different geographical regions that I showed you at the beginning of the presentation. Question 1, Suriname is a former territory of what European country? Suriname is located in South America. 2, name the 5 major oceans of the world. Getting back to some basic geography. 3, name the capital of the following countries: Uruguay, Mexico, Belgium, Belarus, and Myanmar. Question 4, what country has the second largest Muslim population in the world? I asked a question earlier in the presentation series about what is the largest Muslim country in the world. That is Indonesia. This question is asking you for the second largest Muslim population in the world. I think the answer will probably surprise you if you don't already know. Question 5, this country was known as East Pakistan until 1971. Question 6, name the country where you find the following historical cultural sites: Temple, the Serengeti National Park, and Erbil Citadel, which is located in Iraq. Question 7, name the country that took over the construction of the Panama Canal in 1904 and completed the canal in 1914. Question 8, where is the demilitarized zone, the DMZ, on the Korean Peninsula? What is its purpose? A very, very important location in the world right now, based on the situation between the United States and North Korea. Question 9, name the body of water that separates the British Isles from mainland Europe. And the last question, 10, the Suez Canal connects what 2 bodies of water? This chart here just tells you that if you would like to download the geography questions, not only today's but previous ones, to include answers that have been posted to the website, then you can go to eastlongmeadowweather.org and be able to download from that site. What I'd like to do now is, based on what I've said earlier, is to kind of briefly go over 5 locations that I mentioned earlier that are historical or cultural sites around the world. Again, my intent here is sort of expand on that desire to have you develop that global perspective and an understanding of countries around the world, but at the same time to sort of help you develop that list of countries or locations that you'd like to go if you haven't already been to them. I've been to most of these locations and they're quite phenomenal. The first one is Stonehenge in England. Very historical. To this day, they're really not sure as to exactly how Stonehenge came about in the significance, even though each year they find more and more about it. Quite a sight to behold. Especially when you look at these, look at the different stones, and they literally weighs, hundreds of tons, if not 1,000 tons or more. You can't help but raise the question, how could they possibly have been able to, lift these stones on top of each other? The next picture is the Acropolis in Greece, going back to Greek civilization. I've been here. When you're on the hilltop overlooking the city of Athens, it's breathtaking. And it's really hard to believe that you're talking about a civilization that's thousands of years old, and here you have its major temple still standing. This is Angkor Wat Temple, a Buddhist temple in Cambodia. I have not been here. It's on my bucket list of places to go. This is the Forbidden City in China. I've been to China, but I've been in the southern part of China. I have not been up in the north of Beijing. So consequently, I have not seen the Forbidden City, which goes back to the Chinese dynasties, which ruled China for hundreds of years. The dynasties ended in I think 1905. And then finally, the city of Dubrovnik, which is a city historical site, a UNESCO historical site in the country of Croatia. It's a city-port city that's surrounded with a wall fortification. To this day, you can get on the top of the walls and walk around the city, and it is really breathtaking. So hopefully this has whet your appetite to want to do some traveling to these different places. Well, this concludes my presentation for today. I hope you're finding this interesting and also fun. I've tried to add some additional photos, some of the locations that I've been talking about, to, again, whet your appetite. I look forward to seeing you next week. I encourage you that if you have not gotten a map, to get a global map and start marking these different locations that we've been talking about. And that will certainly give you the global perspective that I want you to have. Be safe and stay healthy, and see you next week. Thank you.